All right, everyone, listen up. This is a mandatory security briefing. We need your undivided attention for the next few minutes because we're facing a critical, time-sensitive threat to our entire network. Let's get right to it. We're going to move through this quickly. First, we'll cover the immediate threat we're all facing. Then, how an attacker can actually use it against us. We'll look at just how widespread this problem is, review the official government mandate, and, most importantly, end with the action plan that is required from every single one of us. So let's start with the threat itself. I want to be really clear. This is not some theoretical what-if scenario. This is a zero-day vulnerability. That means the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, that's CISA, has put out a high-priority warning about a major flaw that attackers are already using out in the wild, right now. To put a finer point on it, CISA has officially added this vulnerability, CVE 2026-2441, to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog. Now, this list isn't for potential problems. They're already breaking in with this list. It means attackers are actively using this flaw to hit systems as we speak. We are a direct target. So, how does an attack like this actually work? Well, it boils down to a specific kind of flaw in how a program manages its memory. It sounds technical, I know, but the way an attacker uses it is shockingly simple. Let's break it down. The vulnerability is what's called a use-after-free flaw. Just think of it like this. A program uses a piece of memory for a task, and when it's done, it's supposed to lock the door behind it. But with this flaw, it forgets to lock the door. So the program tries to use that memory again, not realizing it's now an empty, unsecured space, which is the perfect opening for an attacker to sneak in and drop their own malicious code. And that leads to this incredibly simple four-step attack. An attacker builds a malicious web page. One of us visits that page. That's all it takes. That triggers the flaw in the part of your browser that handles how websites look. And just like that, the attacker is in. They can run their own code, and they can potentially take complete control of your machine. Okay, now we need to talk about the scope of this threat, because this is where a lot of people make a really dangerous assumption. You might be sitting there thinking, well, I don't use Google Chrome, so I'm fine. That thinking is wrong, and it puts all of us at risk. Here's why. This is not just a Chrome problem. The flaw isn't actually in Chrome itself. It's in the fundamental engine that Chrome is built on, an open-source project called Chromium. And that's a huge distinction, because a ton of other software out there uses that exact same engine. So what does that mean? It means the attack surface is massive. Yes, it includes Google Chrome, but it also means Microsoft Edge, Opera, Vivaldi, Brave, and even more critically, it includes any other app on your system that might use an embedded piece of Chromium to display web content. We have to assume that any app with a browser-like function could be a way in. Because this vulnerability is so severe and is being actively used by attackers, the federal government has had to step in. CISA has issued a directive that lays out a very clear, very firm timeline for taking action. And this is a direct quote from their directive. CISA strongly urges all organizations to apply vendor mitigations immediately. Now, while that's a legal requirement for federal agencies, the message for private organizations like ours couldn't be clearer. You need to patch this, and you need to do it now. It's the strongest possible recommendation they can make. And here's the timeline we're up against. CISA put this on their must-fix list on February 18th. Federal agencies have a hard deadline of March 10th to get their systems patched. We are adopting that exact same urgency. The clock is absolutely ticking. So, that brings us to the single most important part of this briefing, what you need to do right now. This is not optional. Every single person has a critical role to play in securing this organization. Here are your 3 immediate responsibilities. 1. Manually update your browsers. All of them. Chrome, Edge, you name it. On all your devices. Your work computer, your phone, anything you use for work. Do it now. 2. You have to restart the application. An update doesn't actually apply until you fully quit and reopen it. Don't just close the window, close the entire program. And 3, if you use any special software that has its own little built-in browser, report it to IT. We need to check it. Now, while your personal action is our crucial first line of defense, I want you to know our security and IT teams are already on it. We're running a massive enterprise-wide audit to hunt down and patch every single vulnerable device on our network. Your cooperation just helps us get it done that much faster. So I'll leave you with this one question. As soon as this briefing is over, your very first action should be to make sure the answer to this is yes. Our collective security depends on it. Thank you.